all sorts of different balls. So unusual Blood Bowl balls, multiple balls, exploding balls, demonic balls, stacked lunch ball, draconic egg, spiteful sprite ball, master hoon ball, extra spiky ball, the gritty nurgling ball, ball of dark majesty. that's a meme unto itself. Shat shady special ball, the soul stone ball, frozen ball. That's got to be a very small ball, and sacred egg ball, snotling ball suit, the limpin squid ball. That sounds not good. And the warpstone brazier ball. That sounds like it could be interesting. All right, so they got all the balls. Hi, welcome back to Dice Paper Miniatures. I'm John, and in today's episode, we're going to go over the Death Zone Blood Bowl supplement for Season 2. I can't wait to get started, so let's begin. Okay, so as mentioned, here's a deep dive into the new Blood Bowl supplement, Death Zone, for Season 2. This was actually back on April 7th when this article came out on the Warhammer community. But I think because it's up for pre-order, it's a good time to take a look at it. So the Death Zone supplement is loaded with fresh ways to add variety and excitement to your games of Blood Bowl. The book goes up for pre-order this Saturday, which was actually last Saturday. And one of the most exciting new game options that you'll find inside is a smaller, faster version of Blood Bowl called Sevens. So we talked about Sevens a bit already in our last pitch side report. And I think I also mentioned it in a previous video, but I didn't go into any detail because really didn't have a whole lot of detail at the time. But there are 7 reasons why we think you're going to love it. So the whole premises of Sevens, before we jump into the full 7 reasons, is basically it's a shorter format of Blood Bowl. Even in our leagues with very skilled, knowledgeable players, a game could go between 1 and 2 hours long. So it'll be curious to see how fast this Sevens game actually goes. So that's kind of the benefit or the intention of this is supposed to be for faster games. So smaller teams with just 7 players on each side, it's easy to try out new play styles and teams. Have a couple of half-size Blitz Bowl teams sitting around, add a big guy or one other player, and you're good to go. So if you've also been if you live here in the States and go to Barnes and Nobles, they have those Blitz Bowl boxes. Those actually might work. Don't hold me to that, but that could be an option to get a smaller team if you want to experiment with teams. Otherwise, a full-size Blood Bowl team box would be, obviously fine. Maybe even more relevant for Sevens because typically when you play a full game of Blood Bowl, you end up buying 2 team boxes so you can customize your team optimally, competitively speaking. Whereas with Sevens, you may not need to have to buy 2. You can just get away with 1. So, all right. So, quick games. Blood Bowl Sevens is fast, like super fast. You can play an entire game in under an hour. Oh, really? And once you get the hang of it, that makes it ideal for one-day tournaments or even a lunch break league. That would be pretty sweet, to be honest. Yeah, seriously, that would be very cool. Because right now, to do a one-day tournament at a normal size, it goes from it's like a 12-hour event or more sometimes. At least in my local tournaments here. And then as far as league plays, those leagues last, they're super long, just in general. So the third reason is for tricky plays. The pitch for Sevens is smaller, making for tighter plays. You can even pre-order a specially designed Sevens pitch this weekend, along with the Death Zone rulebook. Again, if you haven't pre-ordered yet and you're seeing this on Monday or even Tuesday, I encourage you, especially when it comes to some of these specialty items, likely the pitch, definitely dice. They tend not to last in stock for very long. I'm assuming the Death Zone actual book supplement will be around for a while. The books tend to, as well as the core games and the models. But these extra things tend to kind of disappear quickly. So if you haven't yet, consider pre-ordering this. And then simplified rules. So streamlined rules are more accessible for new players to pick up, making this a great way to get your friends and family into the game. I'm definitely very curious as to how they're simplifying the rules because we just went through a rule change for season two. I'll be curious if this is like a streamlined version of season two or if it plays more like season one. I guess we'll find out. And then the fifth reason is modest team draft budgets. Okay, so lower team budgets, you spend a copper instead of gold. Oh, make for less money to manage and keep track of. If you'd rather play the game than do a lot of bookkeeping, you'll dig it. Okay. I personally, yeah, I would rather play than figuring out what I want to spend my points on. All right, so the sixth reason, ever improving players. Your players earn skills much more quickly in sevens. That's cool because amateur players learn the punishing lessons of the gridiron fast or they don't play for long. All right. And then seven, unique scenarios. Wacky, desperate measures, inducements represent the dirty tricks and strange situations that make amateur sports so much fun. All right. Okay. Hangover. One player on the opposing team has been out celebrating the night before the match and turns up late. You may play this desperate measure before step one of the first start of dry sequence of the game. Randomly select an opposing player. That player must miss the first drive of the game. Okay. This weekend, you'll be able to pre order the Death Zone supplement and a double sided sevens pitch. Oh, cool. It's double sided, including smaller dugouts. If you're looking for a reason to pick up a new team, sevens might be just the inspiration you need. Grab a fresh team that start playing games after building and painting just half the box. Right on. So by saying half the box, you probably could get away with doing the Blitz Bowl team boxes, but I'd still think there's incentive to buy a regular size box. So in addition to the sevens side game, basically, they release a little bit more information on what we can find inside the Death Zone supplement. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So in this article, we get a chance to look at what else is included in the new Blood Bowl Death Zone supplement. Let's go ahead and jump in. So we actually got kind of a table of contents in this article, and it goes into quite a bit. It looks like we get a number of different sponsors and inducements. Fabulous freebooters, expanded rules for mercenary players, mercenary player inducements. Looks like Titanic effort, so giant size inducements for the big guys. Again, as I mentioned, the sponsorships, Blood Bowl Stadia. It looks like there's different stadiums, different crowd sizes, all sorts of different balls. So unusual Blood Bowl balls, multiple balls, exploding balls, demonic balls, stacked lunch ball, draconic egg, spiteful sprite ball, master hoon ball, extra spiky ball, the gritty nurgling ball, ball of dark majesty. that's a meme unto itself. Shady special ball, the soul stone ball, frozen ball. That's got to be a very small ball, and sacred egg ball. Snotling ball suit, the limpin squid ball. That sounds not good. And the warpstone brazier ball. That sounds like it could be interesting. All right, so they got all the balls. New weather table as well, match events, and then there's that Blood Bowl sevens we just got done talking about. It goes into, looks like the pitch, how to draft a sevens team, playing sevens. All right, so this book is packed with new inducements for all team. Stock your sideline with a variety of colorful characters like wizards, coaching staff, or even referees. Very cool. So, costing a cool 150,000 gold pieces and available to any team with the Badlands Brawl or Underworld Challenge special rules. These Goblin Wizards can cast one of two powerful spells once during the game. Use the Foot of Gork or Mork to punt or stomp an opposing player, or stupefy the most significant threat before a big play with some toxic mushrooms. Dig it, so Spore Cloud. So you may cast this spell at the start of any of the opposition's team turns before any player is activated. Target any standing opposition player anywhere on the pitch and roll a d6. On a roll of 2+, the player is engulfed by a cloud of madcap mushroom spores. Until the end of this drive, the player gains both the loner, 5 plus, and really stupid traits. Wow, rough. And then on a roll of 1, the player begins to sprout strange fungus from his armor before the spell dissipates harmlessly. So you obviously want that 2 plus to really mess with the opposing team. Cool. So are you searching for an excuse to create a team mascot model? Look no further. So now any team can add a mascot using an inducement with actual in-game effects to boot. So the team mascot is pretty interesting. A team that includes a team mascot gains an extra team reroll. A suitable model should be placed on your team reroll tracker. However, to use the team mascot reroll, you must first roll a d6. On a roll of 1 to 4, the team mascot proves ineffective and is pelted by food wrappers and worse, retreats to the locker room. The team mascot reroll is lost for this half of the game. However, you may use a normal team reroll instead. On a roll of 5 plus, the team mascot reroll can be used just like a normal team reroll. So, depending on the cost of this, it might be worth it, but if it's pricey, maybe not so much. And then speaking of sponsorships, so if you're looking to get an edge in league play, you'll want to court sponsorships from the best brands in the sport. Sign up with the McMurdy's Burger Emporium, and your players will enjoy free food while the sponsorship lasts, for better or for worse. So the sponsorship, McMurdy's Burger Emporium. So let's see what happens here. A team that's sponsored by McMurdy's does not get any financial incentive, but the improved catering inspires the players to new levels of enthusiasm. A team sponsored by McMurdy's Burger Emporium has the following special rules. So a team that is sponsored by McMurdy's Burger Emporium gains an extra team reroll for the first half of each and every game they play. That's pretty cool. If this team reroll is not used during the first half, it may be carried over onto the second half. Okay. McMurdy's might make fine food, but sadly their fare is somewhat fattening and doesn't make an ideal diet for athletes. Oh no. Players on a team sponsored by McMurdy's Burger Emporium cannot improve their MA or AG characteristic while the sponsorship is ongoing. Oof, that's rough. Dang you, McMurdy's. You taste so good. So good. Wah, wah. So, yeah. Are you yearning for that home team advantage? Take up a residency deal with the owners of a stadium. Not only do you get a boost to your fan factor when you play at home, but the crowd might not beat up your players when they get pushed into the stands. That's loyalty right there. So all you need to do is strike a deal. All you need to do to strike a deal is work out some modifiers and roll a d6 to negotiate a contract. It's easier if you win your game, have a sponsor, or have lots of fans. So residency table, on a d6, a 5 or less, rejected. The stadium owners aren't keen and the deal is not made. On a 6 to 8, it'll cost you. The stadium owners will let the team stick around for a small donation. The deal is made, but all of the team's winnings from the game are forfeit. Rough. The team can choose to reject the offer and keep the winnings. Okay. On a 9 plus, unconditional offer. The owners are delighted by the team's offer and the deal is made. So yeah, it's a D6, but it is boosted by your sponsor and apparently, your fan factor. So you want to have a lot of fans and you want to have a good sponsorship. So, and apparently if you win the game, you get a bonus too. So if your team is famous enough, the owners will be happy to have you at no extra charge. Hard work definitely pays off. Yep, exactly. So we talked about all the balls at the beginning. So here's an example of that Warpstone Brazier ball. So oftentimes they'll use a specially modified ball, which makes for some very unpredictable shenanigans. Take the Warpstone Brazier ball favored by the Skaven team, for example. These glowing balls are known to cause spontaneous mutations during the game, and they can even engulf players in unnatural green flames to kill them outright. Oof. So on a 1, spontaneous combustion, the player is immediately knocked down. You may modify either the armor roll or the injury roll by +1. On a result of 2, temporal instability, the player moves out of phase with the reality, gaining the no hands trait. Okay. And then result 3, shrunken head. The only thing worse than a tiny head is the realization that your helmet no longer fits. The player gains the bonehead trait. That blows. So, result 4, massively obese. The player expands in size until they are a hulking mass of flesh. The player's movement is reduced by 1 to a minimum of 1, and their AV is improved by 1 to a maximum of 11 plus. Wow, okay. And then result 5, leprous flesh. Skin and flesh hang from the player in sickening folds. The player gains the foul appearance skill. Eek. All right, result 6, thorny carapace. The player's body sprouts a thick, spiked shell. The player gains the iron hard skin skill, and their AV is improved by 1 to a maximum of 11 plus. That's pretty cool. So basically, obviously, you don't want result 3. Um, I'm not sure about result 2. No hands is probably not good. Yeah, you definitely don't want 3. Okay, so alongside weather tables encompassing the many hostile environments that host Blood Bowl games and random match events to add further chaos, there's also a whole new way to play. We introduced the concept of smaller games of sevens and then went deeper into why it's such a refreshing blast yesterday, if you missed it. Oh, okay. So yeah, that basically wraps up the content that we can find in that new Death Zone supplement for Blood Bowl Season 2. So let's go ahead into the summary. So yeah, I'm really excited for this Death Zone supplement. Um, all the different new little additions really flesh out this new season of the game. I, yeah, I'm very excited. I hope my league is open to the idea of trying different balls. As funny as it is to say that, I'm genuinely serious that I think, I think there's a lot to be said by playing with different balls. Okay, so I'm going to try to say this with a straight face, but honestly, I want to play with all the balls. I think that's the best part of this new Death Zone supplement. Like, I love the fact they have all these new inducements, they have these different play formats, but they literally had like 30 balls or something like that to play with. So, I mean, you know, insert meme here. but anyways, all things said, this is an awesome, I think, addition to Blood Bowl. But with that said, what do you all think? Are you excited for this new supplement? Are you looking forward to some of these new inducements, some of these new star players, all these different elements that are being added, the new play format? Sevens looks interesting. I'm excited to try that format. I'm curious what you guys think. Yeah, there's just a lot of going on in this one book. And, again, joking aside, it'd be cool to try some of these new ball formats out. I'm not sure if it's going to be for everyone, but it could add a little bit more fun and interesting, elements to the game, which I think is always, it's kind of nice to mix things up. So again, I love to get your thoughts and comments below. And as a reminder, definitely consider subscribing if you haven't yet, and hitting that notification bell really helps out with the YouTube algorithm. And for those that are really interested in what I provide here for content, if you'd like to support me further, I do have a Patreon as well. All of that helps the channel grow. I can't say thank you more than enough. It's greatly appreciated. And with that, I hope everyone is safe. Take care and see you all again soon. Bye bye.